Everybody, welcome back to my channel, Amused Jester. My name is Junior. Today, let's go ahead and take a look at G.I. Joe Classified's 6-inch figure. This is a Cobra trooper called the Frag Viper. As you can see, very nice packaging. You see everything that's included in the figure. You can still see some stuff over here that might be hidden, but more or less you see the figure out very easily. Whatever this is all about, I don't know. Some sort of code over there that you can scan if you want to. Number 153. Here's the back of the figure. Apparently this is a troop builder, so good luck getting more of this, guys. I can't afford it anymore, so I'm only gonna be doing one of him and everything. So there's the back. Here's the front, and let me go ahead and open it up and let's see what's going on with the figure. Right, so there it is out of the box and packaging. $25 for this figure. This is what you're getting for $25. Look at the accessories. Look at the number of accessories. Also, note that he has two different heads. So you have the option of switching out the portrait or the head. You have this thing, which I think is some sort of kind of like a weapon. In the Philippines, we used to have this sport. I don't know what it's called in English countries, but in the Philippines it's a gambling sport called high alay, and basically you have this scoop in your hand and you use a ball and you kind of like scoop it in here and then you toss the ball. So I think that's the way it's meant to be, and this has a notch that can put it here or here. This is a smoke trail. The gray part is a smoke trail, and I'm assuming this part is the bomb. So he's tossing it, getting ready to increase its range to kill you. Frag Viper. Okay. Okay. The weapons. He's got some sort of automatic weapon. I think, it's kind of like an Uzi. I suppose it's an Uzi. The details are there. I know it's kind of blurry. We're not really going to spend too much time on these guns because the details are there, trust me, but it's just non-painted, regular plastic black. I've already said my position on this. I like it. It brings down the cost, doesn't increase the cost for me. If I want to paint it up, if I want to accentuate the details in that one, I can always paint it up with some sort of dry silver brush and different types of gray gunmetal, if I want to. Comes with a backpack, which has a lot of detail. I'm assuming these 9 circular objects are kind of like the bomb. Yeah, kind of like, right? So if you want to, again, the details there, or if you want to, you can paint it up yourself and bring out more details. There's a pouch over here, two small antennae over here, and this one I'm assuming is where you plug it in. Okay, so interesting. So I'm assuming that this, when you plug it in, these balls would then come out of this and technically go into this part, and that's where you launch the ball in his hand. We'll attach this to the figure later on. While in the meantime, let's go ahead and look at the detail for the 2 head pieces. So here is the mask. Oh, it's an actual mask. That's cool. So you can slip it on his head. As you can see, the eye pieces are glossy black as it's reflecting my light. This hose is very thin. I'm afraid of it snapping off. Technically, if you want to, you just glue that in there so it doesn't annoy you with it slipping off. Very minimalistic painting, but silver, black, regular plastic color with a touch of gray here in these grills. That's what I'm seeing. Interesting. Nice detail again. So, and here's the face, which is, interestingly enough, I find more interesting than the helmet itself. There's a history in this face. Seems like some sort of a mutated body underneath here by Cobra. Maybe even an artificial face here. This is more intimidating than this helmet. Let's put it on. It comes on well enough. It's not too loose. I'm pulling back a little bit so you can see how it looks in terms of the helmet being on in proportion to the rest of the body. I don't really mind that, you know, because I'm thinking like a helmeted head that we use for motorcycles, or even a helmet that's used on the military. They usually end up making the head bigger than the rest of the body because it needs to be thick enough to be functional, right? So I'm okay with this. I really am. Because of the looseness of the helmet, it gives you the illusion of more articulation range on the head. It's not, honestly. But let me remove this for now, and we'll look really closely at the rest of the detail on this figure. So this is a free floating piece. This harness is also a separate piece, which is kind of weird. Oh look, it's got a Cobra insignia right there. So there's two overlaying harnesses on here, but the way they did this one, let me just take out, can I take out this head? It is removable. Interesting. And the ball joint, is it compatible with other? Wow, this is from Dark Lawn, which I just recently reviewed. Look at that. Definitely, I hope Hasbro continues this practice where it's the same ball joint throughout the figures, because it would be so much more easier to just go ahead and use that and keep replacing it, and it adds so much variety, so much play factor that is usually going to be missing. So look at how close this overlay is to the body. That's well done, very well done. And this is one piece, so this whole thing is just one piece connected, which I don't know if I like, because basically that's going to hamper the movement. Notice that this has a different type of articulation than the Dark Lawn, which luckily enough I still have here. Here the torso articulation is kind of like this bow line over here, while here for the Frag Grenadier, this is the older type of articulation. I actually prefer this type of articulation because look and see how much more range it has, right? Oh, I apologize. Let me, before we go to the articulation, let me just finish the detail look on this one. I'm jumping the gun a bit. So very nice detail. You got a silver strap over here. This is a free floating bicep strap. This is again free floating, so that's nice. Got a silvery paint app over here. Nothing here. Silver paint app. This again is just loose and floating, so it's not keyed in. So again, it might become too annoying if it keeps dropping down. Yeah, okay, let's see, move that a little bit over here, some blues and everything. And here's the back. So that's it for the, oh, it's got some sort of collar over here. So that's it for the detail. Let me go ahead and do a, let me back out the camera, and we'll be right back and look at the articulation. All right, so we were talking about the articulation. I was jumping the gun. The head, remember, now there's a joint here at the base of the head and at the bottom of the neck. So it gives you like so small. It's like almost like, why are we doing this if you're gonna limit it with the sculpt? In conjunction with the two, I can't even tell, I can't even say there's any kind of movement up on this head, which is kind of a shame. If you're doing that much effort, like this one should have, instead of just the ball joint, this should have a cut here that allows it to move up. That's the problem with this thing. I don't know why they stopped doing that. This is a barbell joint, I'm pretty sure. What they should have done was a disc hinge here and a barbell joint here that allows you to move up like that. Interesting. If you're gonna do these two types of articulation, you should have just maximized it and everything. So it does have a butterfly joint, as you can see. Now, is it gonna have the same problem as Dark Lawn? We can see the hinge a little, this hinge here a little bit more out. So I'm betting. Look, see that? So that's good. Okay, how about forward to out? Look at that. I want to bring Dark Lawn again and show the difference between these two, which is kind of interesting. So we'll use the same shoulder, right? So here's the thing, butterfly joint. This one seems a lot more than this one. You can see the disc joint coming out here, this hinge here, Well, this one is not. What does that do? What that means is when I move this up like this, that's the most I can do with this figure compared to the Frag Viper. Look at that. Look at how much more difference in range that is. Just because of that small difference on the shoulder. Why is that important? Well, that's important because if I want to do that and I want to do this, that's the most I can do. This has no problem. In order for me to achieve this kind of an angle with this figure, what I have to do is I have to do this, bring it out like so, that one, and then twist the bicep. Unless there's something wrong with my figure of Dark Lawn, it's the only way to do that. And I can see some stressing going on with this figure. Okay, let's go back to the Frag Viper. So that's already a plus for me. I should lessen my value on the Dark Lawn for that. So this, we're going back to Frag Viper. Well done on the articulation over here. Crossing the arms, using the butterfly, it's not there. It just really isn't there. However, I'm gonna have to bring out Dark Lawn again. I'm not sure if it's because of this. It's gotta be because of this. Yes, it is. Yeah, because Dark Lawn is able to do an almost straight arm. Okay, so it's just because of the harness that's preventing it from fully going forward without pushing it in. Okay, so this is already a plus in terms of the articulation compared to Dark Lawn. It's got the bicep twist, that's not a problem. The elbow articulation is double jointed, so that's not a problem. This is a free floating piece. Well, I'm going to switch over to this one, but the wrist, you can go sideways and the wrist goes in and out, not up and down. On this side, the same as this side. Now we're gonna go back to the torso, and I've said before, even though the sculpt wise this is a lot less visually obtrusive, this joint over here, than this one where you have this that right. However, the sacrifice in joint in articulation is ridiculous. I would rather have this than having it look good and not being able to do anything with this torso. You can't. There just isn't any. I would sacrifice visual just to achieve a better range of movement, and then you have that much going backwards. Then you still have the waist swivel. I'm just saying why. I mean, like, and this is the old articulation style. This is much better than that one. It does, this one does still have a drop down joint, which I still don't know. At least for this one, at least it actually does go higher because of the drop down joint. The Dark Lawn, I had a problem with it, but again, it could have been just my figure. No problem there. Thigh cut, double jointed knee, perfect. Articulation on the ankle, well done going down, good enough going up. Ankle articulation, oh, it's got a boot cut, so that's cool, and everything. Okay, let's load them up for bear. Nice. Why does it even have this? Is it a sash or a rope? I think it looks more like a sash than anything else. Plug it in the usual way. I wish they could improve on this back plug, because they had to make it long, because this thing is like really soft plastic and will tend to unclip from the back. So it's just basically, oh, this is gonna be awkward. So you open that up, and then you somehow have to put the hand into these two bars. This is hard enough as it is on a gun, much less so on something like this. The hands are rubbery, so Okay, I think it's good. Put this back in here on the pre-launch position. And just to finish him off, we'll go ahead and put his helmet on. Oh, so this one plugs into the back of his backpack. Yes, as I mentioned, I really wish they have a better solution for this backpack. It's okay right now, but any more stiffer, and as you can see, look, his backpack is not sitting straight because of the tension that's being caused by this massive piece over here. All right, so there is the Frag Viper. So let's talk about this figure. Price 10 equaling to $25, value easy 12. The articulation is so much more better than the Dark Lawn figure. I don't see this as a compromise in terms of the aesthetic. It's mostly hidden. I mean, even if this wasn't here, I really don't mind. I never minded it before in the other figures, but the drastic change in articulation of the torso is just, I wish we would go back to this one, but I might be in the minority of that. The amount of stuff we're getting for a G.I. Joe classified figure for $25, and $25 now is the regular price, it seems like, for figures like this, 6-inch figures and stuff. So that's like the regular price or the bottom of the price unit with this much articulation and everything, and the paint application that we're seeing. And again, I would say that this is a minimal paint application, but they chose their battle wisely and spread it around the figure, so it doesn't seem like it's not a lot. It's just all over the figure, so it seems like there's quite a bit of color going on. The choice in color in this one, as I bring out Dark Lawn again, oh poor Dark Lawn, I'm really begging on you right now. I prefer this type of coloring than this one. I think with this one, what's throwing me off is the green on the top. If this had been like maybe a dark brown or a continuation of the orange around here, then it would be much more interesting. This right now seems like two different figures. One with a dark green and the black, and then the other one with a blood red rust and orange and the black. This one is much more cohesive because the colors that's in the bottom is also in the top. Oh, maybe not so, because this one, yes it is, because even though this is a massive brown paint application here, the orange travels here and here in the color. So price 10 equaling to $25, value easy 12. So many stuff going on with G.I. Joe Hasbro classified figures and what's coming along with it. There's really nothing for me to complain. I mean, it is what it is. I like what's going on, and I still maintain that G.I. Joe Hasbro Classifieds has got to be one of the best lines out there, where I really have very little complaints. I might have some suggestions, but really little complaints. This one and Masters of the Universe from Mattel, Masterverse, those are the ones I really like the most. So that's it for my review of the Frag Viper from Cobra, G.I. Joe Hasbro Classifieds. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you guys on my next review. Bye.